Feral Friends. I'm Caitlin.
I'm Bella.
And we're from Feral to Family. And today we have our very first guest. She is our friend, our adopter, and our veterinarian monthly visitor.
Lucky me.
So, welcome, Roberta.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Thanks so much for being here.
Pleasure.
Do you want to tell us about your education or your job or experiences?
Sure.
Oh, and
Hi,
this is Zoe.
So I am a veterinarian. I'm only a couple years out, so new to the veterinary field. And when I was in vet school, it turns out that I love cats. I met some really nice, friendly ones, and I was like, these things are adorable. And when I was in vet school, I adopted my first cat named Maisie. She was an orange and white cat, and she was one of those reserved kitty cats who made you work for her affection. And she was a really good study mate. And there's another cat. And yeah, since being out, I've worked with dogs and cats, and I really love it. So I'm glad that I live close to these guys, and they actually caught one of my kittens in the wall of my landlord's barn.
Yes. And she's the cutest little nugget.
So cute. Oh, there's another cat.
It's weird to say this, but your love is adorable.
They're so cute.
I feel like the reserved cats that you have to work for their love, like Maisie, are like the best companions.
They are. They also make you feel really special. Because she literally was afraid of everyone and everything, and only liked me.
Aww.
Oh my god, the cute.
Yeah, we end up with a lot of cats like that here that we have to work really, really hard to earn their love and their trust, and it's really, really special.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time she came up to me for pets, it was about a week after I got her, and I was trying to make dinner, quesadillas, and she comes over, she starts squeaking, and she just would not leave me alone. She wanted every single pet in the world. Like, it was a 15-minute, like, I actually had to turn off the oven and sit down and pet her. And ever since then, she would come to me for petting sessions, very long ones, like 2 or 3 times a day. So
That's adorable.
yeah.
Oh. Do you know how old she was when you got her?
She was a younger cat, probably 1 or 2. She was definitely underfed. She was quite skinny. She had a raggedy hair coat. She had like a healing wound on her lip. My roommates were like, why did you get such a sickly looking cat?
Oh.
And I had actually seen her at the clinic where I was interning at to get experience for vet school and jobs, and I was actually working there. And they had an adult cat spay day from the Humane Society, and so there was 5 adult cats. And I had been petting a hugely fat calico cat who had given birth to a litter of kittens, so she was just adorable. And Maisie, the little orange and white cat, was in the next door cage, and she was pressing up against the bars, and she gave me this look, and I was like, you want some pets, don't you? And so I opened it up, and I was petting them both, and she was shedding. I just remember she shed so much, and I actually, stopped petting her because of how much she was shedding. And I was originally going to adopt the calico cat when I went to the shelter, and then I decided, you know what, I don't really want an outgoing cat. Thank you for that sneeze. I wanted a quiet cat for studying. I wanted a study buddy, and she was the perfect one.
Oh. That's a really good story.
So don't overlook the quiet cats.
Yes. The reserved cats save their love for you.
Mm-hmm. And only you. And
Yes.
it's the best.
Mm-hmm.
guys looking at this thing?
Do you want to teach us something about cats?
Sure. Okay. So, a lot of people wonder, how do you pet a cat, or how do you greet a cat for the first time? Well, the first thing is that you let the cat come to you. If you walk towards a cat, especially straight on while staring at them, that is a sign of aggression in their body language. So what you want to do is you want to greet them with your voice. So what you want to do is you want to let the cat come to you. You want to greet the cat in a quiet, soothing voice, just like you would with a small child that didn't know you. And you want to not stare at them. You can look at them, but you look at them for 1 to 2 seconds, and then you just kind of flick your eyes away, or you look down. Hi, baby. And if possible, you want to approach the cat from the side. So aim towards their shoulder or directly from the side of them, because that way they don't feel like you're attacking them, and they have multiple ways to exit. And what you do is you hold your hand out. You can do palm up or palm down. I kind of like palm up because you have more control over your fingers that way, and also that's how you're going to pet them. So you hold out your hand and you wait for the cat to come over and sniff you. If they look at your hand and look kind of interested and they're doing some sniffies and they look back up at your face, that's a good sign. They're interested. Their eyes should be, or their ears should be pointed towards you, and they should hopefully take a couple steps in your direction. A sign that the cat is too anxious or doesn't want to say hi, they shrink away from you, they look away or not looking at you at all. Their ears are sideways or back, or they move away. If it, just kind of like with a person. If the person doesn't want to talk to you, don't bug them. You can always try again later. And then how to pet a cat. So, contrary to popular belief, every cat has a different particular way they like to be petted. So with dogs, oftentimes safe places to pet are right underneath the ears. If you pet a dog or cat on the top of their head, that's very scary. They just see this thing coming towards their face. So what you want to do with any cat or dog is to say hi, let them greet, hello baby. Let them sniff your fingers and then pet them under the chin, just like this. Look at that. That is kind of the safest spot. And then you can try very light pets along the back. That can be a lot of stimulation for cats who aren't used to being petted. So very light, like 2 fingers. Don't do scritches. That's too much for kitties. You can go along the tail. That's my petting preference. A lot of cats don't like that, so if they don't like it, don't do it. And then if they like pets on the head, you can do little scratches. But underneath the ears, best place to pet when you're getting to know a cat. And then, can you pet a cat's tummy? The answer is only if you know the cat. Many cats do not like having their bellies touched because it's a very private part. It is where all their internal organs are. It's where a predator would eat them first. It's their soft tummy. So if a cat comes over to you and flops over, it's not usually a sign to pet their tummy. It's a sign that they trust you. So don't betray their trust and go to pet their tummy. If they flop over and show you their tummy, go for the safe spot of petting underneath the chin. And then try along the top of their head and then along their back. If they tolerate all of that, then you can go ahead and try to do a couple rubs right kind of on their kind of chest area. Don't go right for the tummy. And again, this is very, very sensitive, so you can use only a couple fingers. If the cat trusts you and you kind of train them to like it, then it's a really fun experience for you both. Both of my kitties love having their stomachs touched when they're in the mood. Just because they liked it once doesn't mean they like it again. Consent is universal.
Always be prepared to have your hand attacked if you're going to touch a cat's belly.
Kittens. Yeah, that was the lesson. Anything to add on petting kitties, guys?
Well, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So we have So in our work, we're usually like the first real positive human interaction for the cats that we trap. And so we have gone at it with a closed hand and kind of like a knuckle out. And that seems to be, they seem a lot more receptive to this than to this or this. Do you know why?
Good question. So cats have very poor eyesight up close. Cat eyesight works by seeing movement and by seeing detail, usually far away to mid-range. Basically anything within 6 feet, they cannot see well. So when you're, especially if they've never seen a human before, petting is not a thing that exists in cat worlds. There is no cat equivalent to us petting them. It is a completely foreign thing to them. So especially up close, fingers look weird. They're like, I don't know, what is the twiggy things? Are they like forks? They have no idea. Whereas a closed fist is just kind of like a stump. You know, it's just kind of like oh, it's like a weird looking pillow or something.
Okay.
And so that can be a lot easier for them to accept.
That's interesting. I was also wondering, we have more than one, but one in particular I'm thinking of, Rory. She will, she's still socializing. I don't consider her fully social yet. But she will, if we reach out, she'll smell us, and then she wants to be pet right on her whiskers. But she does not want to be touched on the top of her head at all.
Yeah, so actually that's what Winnie likes. The kitten I adopted from these guys. So their cat scent glands are right, basically from their whiskers to their cheeks and a little bit underneath their ears. So when you pet along their whiskers, it's a very safe spot because they can see the shape of your hand the whole way. It's not hidden underneath their chin. It's right close to their mouth, so if they get scared and they want to bite you, your hand's right there. Also, they can paw you pretty easily. So it's a very, like, if they get scared, they're like, I can defend myself from this position really well. And then also, they're basically scent marking you. So that's kind of a sign that they are trying to trust you. They are spreading themselves on you to be like, okay, it's a little scary, but it's okay. I'm going to, like, mark it as an okay thing. And we're going to, like, so, yeah, just trying to learn that you're not so scary.
Okay.
And also, there's not a lot of touch receptors in that spot because the whiskers are their touch receptors in that case. And whiskers detect movement by their tips, not by their bases where they're really thick. Fun fact, cats have many, many more touch receptors per square inch of their skin than do dogs and people. You can look it up online. I'm terrible with numbers. But it's like at like 10 times, 100 times. It's like a bajillion, a lot more. So that is why, they just did a head boopy. It was really cute. That is why cats get overstimulated with petting because they have more touch receptors. Imagine if if a tickle was, by one person was actually felt like a tickle by 10 people. That would be way too overwhelming.
Wow. Surprised they let us pet them at all.
Never thought about that before.
Yeah. That's why you should always be gentle with babies.
I have a question.
Now, with that, so do you see a lot of cats with skin, like sensitivity where they don't want to be touched?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's I would say it's the majority of the time in my work as a veterinarian because usually they're coming to me with a problem. So older cats, they do not hide. Did I yawn? Oh, that was cute. So older cats will not want you to pet over their back, their lower back, and their pelvises because they have hip arthritis, and it hurts a lot. A lot of cats who have fleas or flea allergy will be itchy all over. So not only do we not really want to touch them because they're kind of crusty or oozy and gross, but also the cats are incredibly itchy. So it's, you wouldn't want somebody to touch your itchy rash.
Yeah, it makes it itch.
Yeah.
Don't poke my bug bite.
Exactly.
Hi, sweetheart.
Oh, look at these babies. Oh, ahead.
I want to teach something about kittens.
I've also noticed that earwax, and we've both noticed, but earwax in cats grows like really.
Yes.
So fast,
And
so much,
a lot of
so
cats
disgusting.
get very irritated by the presence of earwax. So cats don't usually get ear infections. They can, and when they do, it's usually pretty bad. But cats with earwax, they get very sensitive. So if your cat is flattening one ear after you rub it, if they're shaking their head after you rub their ears, and if they go back and scratch, that's a sign that they have either earwax accumulation or an infection. And you should get their ears cleaned. This is something you can do at home, but I strongly recommend going to your vet and learning how to clean their ears properly so that you can touch their ears and clean them more than once. It's just like with a toddler. If you do something scary to them, if you try to do it a second time, they're not going to want to have it happen.
Yeah.
So do it right the first time.
We have cleaned ears here quite a bit, many times, and then oftentimes I will clean a cat's ears. We'll give Manny, for an example, clean her ears, and then the next day it's full of black nasty earwax again, that I'm assuming is in the canal that I don't want to go into, and so then I move the stuff that's in the outer ear, and then that gunk comes out. She actually purrs the entire time I clean her ears now.
Does that feel good?
Yeah.
How are you cleaning her ears?
Q-tips.
But what are you doing? Like just dry Q-tips?
Lately, yeah. Before I've been using ear washes.
Okay.
Just like a cleanser.
So I would recommend moistening the Q-tips a little bit. It doesn't have to be like wet, but just so it's not as irritating to her ears.
Okay.
Ideally, so the best way to clean ears without causing pain is to let the ear cleaner do its work. So if this is the ear canal, and you have your bottle of ear wash, you want to squirt the water into the ear, so you kind of, hello babies, hello. So you tug up their ear like this, and you're going to go boop with your solution. You know, nobody likes water in their ears, but you pour it in, and then you immediately squish their base of the ear just like that. Ooh, they love that, see? Loves it. And, you know, everybody gets a little bit messy, but you know you have enough ear cleaner in there when it starts to make a sound. To make a really gross, disgusting sound. There's a cat in there.
I'm really excited you made the sound I was hoping you would.
Yeah. And so that when you hear that gross sound, the sound, that's one successful rinse. If you have a dirty ear, you need to rinse it at least 3 times.
Like in succession, right
Yes.
after each other?
Yeah, I mean you can alternate ears, but flush each ear, gross dirty ear 3 times, and then check your work with your cotton ball swab to like dry everything out. You basically go like doop like that, or with your tissue, and you can use your Q-tip then to run. You're just going to go right inside the ear canal. You're not trying to go fishing. You are not going to dig down deep. It's just to check your work. You're trying to see, am I getting chunks of earwax, or is it really stained dark brown? If it is, I need to do more cleaning, if the pet will tolerate it. If there's blood on ear swabs, that's a sign that the ear canal is really irritated, and you should stop for the day and try again tomorrow. But yeah, you can clean the outside of your cat's ears with like a moistened Q-tip, or with like they have ear cleaning wipes. But if they actually have earwax inside of the ear canal, then you do need to have some type of cleaning solution to get in there and break it. So cute.
Can I do something
You're
about
so cute,
kittens?
Muffin.
Sure.
Hi, my name's Zoe. I'm her daughter, and I want to teach something about kittens. So kittens are usually born in a litter of 3 to 5, and sometimes mama cats carry them in their mouths. They just open their mouths and scratch them with their teeth and carry them.
That's right.
And I've learned this from a book from my school library. I call it that. But it's on Mommy's computer.
Yep. Thank you, Zoe.
Thank you. That was very good. Which one's this one?
This is Arigato.
Arigato.
She's been a lot sweeter lately.
She also has been super duper sweet.
This is our head Bobio.
Yeah.
What do? Yes. Oh, see that? I'm thinking that way to give you kisses.
Very exciting.
Boink.
I wanted to go back to the sensitive skin. So when you have a cat that is allowing you to pet them along their whiskers to their cheek or their ear and under their ear, but very obviously, like when you pet their back, they like move away from it. Is it rude to keep trying to pet them on the back, or is that something that they may eventually enjoy if you keep being gentle about it?
Yeah, I think if you keep being gentle about it. So it's kind of just like with humans. Some humans don't like hugs that much, and so it's never rude to kind of like be like, hey, can I hug you? Like, ask them. It is okay to ask and to try like once or twice to pet their back every petting session. But if they move away, or especially if they like whip around or like kind of mouth you, then respect that.
Okay.
But yeah, if they don't like it one day, it's not to say that you can never try again. But definitely go back to what they do like, to be like, okay, that kind of tells them, okay, we saw that they moved away, and we're going to go back to the thing that you like better.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I would say, like, anytime they had a severe reaction, like Winnie Kitten, she tolerates belly rubs occasionally, but most of the time she'll be like, no, I want to play. And so she'll try to attack my hand, and I'll have to redirect her with a toy. But that's a clear sign of she does not want belly rubs right now. So that would be rude for me to try again, because she's clearly telling me I don't want it. But if she just does a subtle thing of like, moving her belly out of the way, but she's still kind of looking at me like she wants pets, then it's not rude to try one more time.
Yeah. So there's no equivalent, like cats don't pet each other, but they do rub on things. Is that, I mean, that's very similar to petting.
So when we pet cats, that's a way of showing our affection and of bonding. And so cats bond by grooming each other. Allo grooming is what it's called. And by proximity, so sleeping together, cuddling together. So affection by playing together. So that's why playtime is so important for your cats. It's even older cats who have arthritis. Yeah, they're not going to rock it around, but it's a really important part of bonding for cats. So please try to play with your older cats. They like playtime as well as kittens. But yeah, so if you watch cats, they'll head. Wow.
Does Winnie carry things around in her mouth? Mm-hmm. No. It's so funny. Some of them do. Like we've got a few. Like Talk has a mouse that he'll find and he'll just carry it around.
First it was the red one, now it's the blue one.
Yep.
Oh yeah, play with your older cat, not just kittens. But yeah, so cats will generally allo groom each other, and they'll sometimes nuzzle each other's heads to kind of spread their scent around. And they mark their territory with the pheromones that they make with their paw pads, so that's why they need people as well, kind of mark them as yours. So yeah, but they don't generally, they don't pet each other's backs or anything.
Right.
Has anybody ever brought in a feral cat into you, like for you to fix or spay or neuter or take care?
Not for me. Personally, the two clinics where I've worked don't generally handle feral cats. We had a couple trapped feral cats at my last clinic, but I just didn't happen to be the doctor there. When I was working as a vet technician before, down in Rutland County, that clinic did do TNR spays and neuters on a regular basis. I think we had 2 a month. So I would help them anesthetize them. I would watch, and then I would help during the surgery. Because they're always very scared. They've usually been in that trap for a while. Well, yeah, so I've seen how they do some TNRs. It's nice to do a surgery on them after you socialize them, but Population control is a humane issue, babies. And so in my mind, it is more important to stop the creation of 20 new kittens a season by, spaying one mom, and, reducing 40 new babies by neutering a tomcat. Hi, baby. What are you doing?
How did they get them, like, under anesthesia without being hurt?
Yeah, so actually, that's kind of the cool thing, the cool overlap between like zoo medicine and small animal medicine. So how do you handle animals that are afraid or feral or dangerous? So a lot of it is the control of the environment. So we make sure it's really quiet. We make sure that we're in a confined room with no escapes, no ceiling tiles they can go up into. Every clinic has a story of a cat who escaped and lived in the ceiling for a while.
Oh,
Yeah. And you use, generally put a blanket or a sheet over the cage so they feel more, calm. And most of these cages are a type of squeeze chute. So you can squeeze them towards one end. So again, you're limiting the amount of space that they're in. And so one part of their body will be against the side of the cage. And then you have your syringe with a long needle. Generally, we do a needle on it's called a butterfly, a small needle on a long line,
yeah.
so it's more flexible.
Sometimes even a kitten can scratch you enough that a whole bunch of blood comes out.
Are butterfly needles also the ones that they use to, like, inject fluids and stuff?
sub-Q.
Yep. So butterfly is named after the two pieces of plastic that are on either side of the needle. They're basically flexible wings that are used to help grip the needle. And so they're really helpful because they give you a little bit more play. You have something flexible between the syringe full of whatever you're giving them and the needle, which is going to the patient. So if the patient moves a little bit, you're not going to pull out that needle. And so usually we just need one good poke with our cocktail of medication. That's usually a combination of pain medications that make them go to sleep. We call it kitty magic because it works really well. It works like magic. And if you get it all in at the appropriate dosage, they will fall asleep in about 10 minutes.
Oh. And stay asleep through the whole procedure?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, so all of our neuters are done under kitty magic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then, so they all stay asleep for the whole procedure. So neuters are usually just done under kitty magic. The spays have the kitty magic, and then because it's a longer procedure and it's more painful, they get the inhaled gas anesthesia. So they get the endotracheal tube to make sure that they stay asleep. And make sure, oh my God, you're so cute. So stay cute. Any other questions, Bella?
I don't think so. Not that I can think of.
So the feral cats get poked. They fall asleep in 10 minutes. Once they're asleep, the staff will carefully open up the cage and take them out. Sometimes if they're worried that they're still awake, they'll use cat gloves, which is basically just thick leather gloves. Hi, baby. And then they put in an IV catheter for fluids and for injectable medications if it's a female. If it's a male, a seasoned veterinarian can castrate a cat in less than 5 minutes. So it is not worth putting in a catheter because that takes 10 minutes sometimes if people are learning. The techs will clip and clean, do their exam while they're asleep, check their teeth, check their temperature, clean them up if they've used the bathroom on themselves, clean up the trap or the carrier if they've dirtied that. And then they usually get, especially for TNR, they get a long-acting injection of an opioid because they won't get pain meds again. So you can get long-lasting compounded opioid injections that last for 2 to 3 days. It's not as long as we would like. I prefer my spays to have 7 days of pain meds. Other people just do 3 to 5 days. I think if you had your abdomen open, you deserve pain meds for a week.
Yeah.
The neuters generally get 3 to 5 days. I do 5 days because I like my pets to be comfortable. But again, neuter is not as uncomfortable. And if you make good use of your local anesthetics, your local blocks, you can reduce the pain even more. So if you put a little bit of lidocaine into each cat testicle, it makes it go numb before you cut it. So they're much more comfortable. Because a lot of times, once you start pulling on them, the male cats will start to move, even though they're asleep, because they feel it. But if you have the blocks in place, they don't feel it. And we're starting to use more local blocks in our cat space. Depends on the clinic and the veterinarian, but I've had really good luck using local blocks in the abdomen. You literally just, hi babies, you put a couple mils of lidocaine directly into the abdomen when you're closing up, and it numbs everything. So it's really nice for foreign body surgeries, for gastrotomies, for spays. And then I save a little bit of lidocaine to use along the incision. And they're comfy. They're more comfy.
That's awesome. What is your opinion on people socializing feral cats? Because we've talked to vets that have told us that feral cats don't need rehabilitation. The best thing for them is to trap them, have them sterilized, and put them back where they came from. We have people tell us that you cannot socialize a feral cat over a year old.
So, as with everything, the answer is it depends, in my opinion. So, for one thing, I think it depends on how many feral cats you're talking about, because there is a difference between a stray cat who ran away from home and is hanging around a neighborhood. That's not a feral cat, that's just a stray cat. True feral cats live and die outside as part of a feral cat colony. Generally in Vermont, where we are, they're found around ski resorts, and they're found around big farms, so dairy farms. Any place where there's lots of rodents and open fields for them to hunt in. So socializing is much more difficult when animals are older, because kittens under 16 weeks of age and puppies under 16 weeks of age basically have less fear of the unknown. It's an evolutionary thing. You don't want them to be terrified that they never learn. So it's much, much easier to socialize a feral kitten. Again, the extent of socialization depends on their personality. Every vet and every person who works with kittens will tell you a story about feral kittens who came in and they're still always little. Everybody also has a story about a stray cat or a feral cat who just hung around their house and their neighbor fed it, and now it's an indoor cat and they didn't do anything other than feed it. So it depends on their personal past and experience with humans, as well as their personality, and I think it also depends on the person who's trying to socialize them. If your idea of socialization is abducting an adult feral cat and putting it into your home with a bunch of dogs and just being like, it can be inside now, that's not gonna work.
No.
Or like almost breaking it, like into it.
Yeah. I think it is difficult, and I think that a lot of people may wonder why people are socializing feral cats, but I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, I don't think anybody should be discouraging anybody from doing it. Because in the end, if socializing feral cats is allowing them to get rehomed in a place where they will get sheltered and fed and cared for and loved, and we're reducing overpopulation, that's a win-win for me. And there may be some failures, i.e. some cats who can never be socialized with humans, but that doesn't negate the positive effects of trying. either with that creature or with multiple other creatures. It's just like with some dogs, there will always be some dogs whose behavioral issues will not allow them to live in a home with humans. And that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try, and it doesn't mean that we shouldn't try with other pets.
I like that. I am of the same opinion. It's hard because we do have some that we've had for a year that are not social yet, but they have made improvements. They're not pettable, but they will smell our hand without swatting us, which they didn't when they first came to us. It was a immediate swat, get away from me. And we have some, that like we couldn't get in to clean their enclosure in the beginning, that now it's no problem. Yeah, so I think we don't want to give up on anybody too soon.
But you might have to put a timeline on it.
We might have to, yeah.
Yeah, because again, it's just kind of like foster care. You don't particularly want your kids to live in foster care the whole time in an overcrowded situation if you can help it. And it's kind of the same with any shelter. Like we don't want them to live in any type of shelter for an extended period of time. So yeah, I think putting not just like a timeline of months, but also in terms of their progress, being like, if we've only made a little bit of progress in the last couple of months, or have we made gradual progress the whole time, like, does it seem likely that we'll make more? But yeah, I think, I mean, me just objectively, I think, 1 to 2 years with a particular animal is enough. I think after that, their mental health will start to suffer. And it depends, too. Like, maybe they don't let you pet them, but are they playing with other cats?
Right.
And are they,
or
like,
playing with toys.
Yeah, exactly. Because if they're doing those behaviors, I'm like, oh, it's a good quality of life. But if they're still in that wire carrier, not exploring the world and not getting any sort of interaction, then yeah.
Right.
Hi, babies.
So we don't officially have anything yet because we don't have like a permanent facility. But like my ideal plan is down the road when we have cats that don't want to cohabitate with humans, that they would have a structure that would be monitored from feral to family, that cats could continue to live a feral
kind of
life
like,
and still
the
be
big
fed.
cat sanctuaries or the chimpanzee sanctuaries. Yeah, because those animals in those sanctuaries know people.
Yeah.
But yeah, they can't live among them.
Yeah.
And they do kind of the same. There's some private people who do the same with dogs, where they kind of live as a giant dog pack. And again, there are pros and cons. Obviously, there'll be some injuries that won't get attended to in a timely manner,
Yeah.
But yeah, if they've been spayed and neutered, they can't reproduce. They're safer than, they have a fence around them so they're not being eaten by wildlife. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, some people might say, why put in the effort? But I think if your focus is on their quality of life, then it's hard to go wrong.
Yeah.
Look at these babies. I have a kitten, but an upside down kitten. First, you tire out the kittens with a bunch of play, and then they become all snuggly. That's the secret. Going back to the mission. Hi, babies. You hang.
We thank you. The cats thank you.
We hate
Everybody out there, stay feral. You want to tell them what they should do if they enjoyed this video? Zoe is our official cheerleader for From Feral to Family, and she has a message for you. Take it away, Zoe.
If you enjoyed this video,
Sorry.
make sure you like and subscribe. Smash that like button with a hammer if you like this video. Bye. Have a nice night.